barring any mistakes on behalf of the Knicks, it's looking real good.
Oh, no, Monica, no! No!
You didn't play the whole soundbite.
Maximum Tyrese is what we got. New life for Philly and Milwaukee and Toronto and Nashville. But the star of the night, MVP! Let's go around the horn.
Giving him the bees.
That was unbelievable. Yet the Dodgers got stung.
These are scary.
So did the Knicks.
An instant classic, Sixers-Knicks last night, the Maxey game.
Don't foul the jump shooter.
Never underestimate the heart of a team facing first-round elimination. The Knicks collapsed by allowing that Maxey four-point play.
Any heartbreak?
By missing the free throws in the end of the game in overtime. No foul of three and run out of the gym in overtime at home. A game they thought they'd be clinching in. Monica, what did you, Jonathan Stewart, Tracy Morgan, all of MSG and NBA fans just witness?
Anguish.
Yeah.
If
From
you're
your
rooting for the
perspective,
orange
maybe.
and blue. Otherwise, you got a chance to see a young man that is beginning to cement himself as one of the next faces of the league as far as his star power. This game is so much more about Tyrese Maxey refusing to let his team fall as opposed to the Knicks collapsing down the stretch. The four-point play, boneheaded play defensively by Robinson, but still a tough shot by Maxey. And then the wherewithal to use his quickness to negate the opportunity for the Knicks to foul as he hit a logo three. Like, this was a dude that literally rescued Joel Embiid and company and ripped victory out of the jaws of defeat.
Okay, so that no collapse from the Knicks, says Monica McNutt. Harry Lyles Jr., you?
No.
You had your chance.
They won a collapse, but they left that window cracked, and Tyrese Maxey jumped through that sucker because, man, he did a diet Reggie Miller. It wasn't 8 points in 8.9 seconds, but it still was exhilarating to the point where I had to go on YouTube and watch the best version of that. 22 points in fourth quarter and overtime. He shot 7 of 11. And the thing here is the Knicks gave him opportunities, which he took advantage of. He was 4 for 4 on uncontested looks. So if you're Tyrese Maxey, for as many issues as this team has had all postseason, this has been a back and forth, quite the slugfest of a series. Every time he had to make it count, he absolutely did, despite all of the things that we've seen with Joel Embiid with the Bell's palsy. He had 9 turnovers yesterday. He still does not look like himself on that knee. The series is a war of attrition, and Tyrese Maxey is the ultimate warrior right now, at least as it coming out last night.
You said it yourself. 4 of 4 on uncontested shots late in the game. A 4-point play, a blown lead, the likes of which you don't see often in the playoffs. Jay, did the Knicks collapse here, or did Maxey take it?
Well, just as you didn't hear Harry refer to the moment in the 90s as the Knicks collapse, it was the Reggie Miller moment, stealing those 8 points. This has to be the Maxey moment, as I call it, the any heartbreak, referencing where he took the ball, that shot from the first 2 letters in New York near half court. The question now becomes, can you stay in the rain, right? Who can recover from it? But you can learn from Maxey if I'm the Knicks. The last time he played in that game, he couldn't get an inbounds pass. He couldn't hang on to the ball without turning it over or getting a timeout called. And so even in this game, he missed some critical free throws that could have played a big role, but he fought through it, had the big 4-point play, had this big shot. I love the playoffs because they offer revelation and redemption. Sometimes you have to wait a year. Sometimes the redemption can come within the same series or even within the same game, as it did for Maxey this time. And he saved us from talking about Joel Embiid and those 9 turnovers and the flagrant foul.
All right, Bill Plaschke, 3 tell me it's the Maxey game. No questions asked. No Knicks collapse. How'd you see it?
Blah, blah, blah. It was a Knicks collapse. Can we not face that, people? It was amazing. You see all the fans celebrating in the Garden. You can tell they haven't clinched a home series there in 25 years. They have no idea how to act. They thought the game was over with. It wasn't over with. It's the first time in 25 years that a team has blown a 6-point lead in the last 30 seconds. They should have fouled him. They didn't foul him. What's Mitch Robinson even doing in the game at that time? They should have guarded Brunson on. They should have fouled him, and they should have not fouled him earlier.
Maxey,
2 terrible plays. Brunson was awful down the stretch. That turnover, he deadened the ball during the overtime. He wouldn't give it up. They fell apart.
Monica, back in. Defend your Knicks.
Well, I will say this. You love when a team takes ownership of all the mistakes, and that's exactly what the Knicks did post-game. McBride acknowledged the miscommunication on the foul. Hart acknowledged he has to make free throws. Brunson acknowledges he can't throw the basketball away. But I will say that the Sixers have been in late-game situations throughout this series, so there was a level of attentiveness that for the first time in this series, you didn't see from the Knicks down late. I agree with J.A. in terms of the opportunities to redeem themselves coming in about 25.
Specifically in the overtime, though, the offense just looked ragged for New York, right? You liked offensively in this series, you called it the plethora. The plethora that they put out there. I didn't see plethora in overtime, Monica.
No, and you're absolutely right. The ball absolutely got too sticky in overtime and down the stretch in the fourth quarter. But this is where it becomes tricky now. They were down Bojan Bogdanovic, who's out now needing ankles or a foot surgery. Precious Achiuwa didn't play. All I saw was fatigue across the board.
Adonde, last word on this.
Well, Plaschke mentioned the foul situation. I'd like to take that off the board. I think if a team is up 3 in the final 24 seconds, anytime you foul someone in three-point territory, it should be 3 shots if you're in the bonus. Because we want plays like Maxi's. We don't want it to be decided by making the mathematically wise decision of taking the foul and allowing 2 points.
Oh, I didn't see that coming.
Off the board.
Yeah, you acknowledge that it was a mistake.
If you foul the team when you're up 3.
Let's go. Thumbs up or thumbs down on solutions-oriented Adonde here, trying to even get away
I like
from.
The idea.
All right, you don't like the gamesmanship of it all, though? Yeah, McNutt thinks it still needs to be in there. The Knicks had their chance and didn't convert on it. All right, well, we've been horned. We'll move on. Never underestimate the heart of a team facing elimination in round 1, part 2. The Bucks stave off elimination. Stave is such an underrated word. Is there hope for Milwaukee now? Doc Rivers says Antetokounmpo and Lillard are very, very, very close to returning. J.A., did Indiana, in losing by 23 in a closeout potential game, just blow their best chance?
No, let's remember, you were reminded they're a young team trying to close out a team on the road. They're playoff neophytes. Plaschke and I saw with the Lakers, their first championship run, they couldn't close anybody out.
Oh, these Pacers are the Lakers in their first championship run? Is that what it is? Kobe and Shaq out there?
I'm not going that far. The risk, though, is for the Bucks shouldn't get any ideas. The Bucks shouldn't get any ideas, though, with maybe we can have Giannis and Dame Lillard come back. Hey, maybe we can take advantage of whoever comes out of that Knicks Sixers series is going to be depleted. Hey, Porzingis is hurt. Maybe if we get to the conference finals, we can catch Boston. Eliminate all of those thoughts, and you need to play for next year, and don't risk your franchise guys. Besides, Tony, what does the absence of those guys mean? More minutes for our paisan, Danilo Gallinari, plus 15 in 21 minutes last night. I didn't even know he was still in the league.
Okay, I appreciate that. I'm still lost at you comparing, or at least bringing up the Lakers' first playoff run with it. Bill Plaschke, on what you saw from the Pacers last night, the inability to close, did they just blow their best chance?
I got your back, J.A. This is exactly like Laker teams. Other teams, any young team trying to clinch on the road, it's very hard to do, Tony.
Happens to the best of them.
I don't deny that. I just
this was a fait accompli. This game was going to be over with. They had no chance of winning this game. They'll win when they get back home because I don't think Lillard and Giannis are going to play. And the Bucks were 1-9 when Lillard doesn't play. I don't think they'll bring him back.
Well, when was the one? The one was, yesterday. Monica McNutt. I turn to you now.
I was in Indiana for the overtime thriller, and one thing about this young group is Rick Carlisle is keeping them balanced, trying to get them to feel and learn the ebbs and flows of a series. To me, Bobby Portis was on an absolute redemption tour. The Bucks were at home. I think there is some experience there. We're seeing playoff Chris Middleton from the championship run level performances, but I do think that the Pacers are in good position because, frankly, you don't have time to rest with them. They don't rest on defense. They're just trying to get you to shoot the basketball so they can get out and run, and we know their speed has been a weapon all season long.
Harry, did you see this as Indy losing their best chance maybe to close out this series, or no big deal for the young team?
It was a good chance. It wasn't their best chance. Their best chance is going to be in Game 6 at home. Monica just mentioned that this was sort of a redemption game for Bobby Portis, who apologized to his team for getting ejected in the first quarter of that game. A good way to make up for that is 29-10. Then you had Pat Bev and Brooke Lopez, who did what you absolutely needed them to do, which was to defend. When they were the primary defenders, the other team was shooting 4 of 19 and 6 turnovers as well. And then for the first time all series, the Bucks outscored the Pacers in transition. So this was absolutely a get-right game for Milwaukee. That is what Game 6 will be for Indiana at home, which is something that you should be able to attain even if you are a young team. If they don't, then they absolutely should worry if this goes back to Milwaukee for a Game 7. I don't care who's playing.
Yeah, this is where Rick Carlisle comes in. He's a great coach of young championship coach, a coach of young players. He'll get them ready. I bet on Rick Carlisle.
All right. Well, barring any setback here, everything's looking good
Tony.
for everybody. That's all. I just wanted to say that. Buy or sell set.
Wow. Jeez.
Never underestimate the heart of a team facing elimination in round one, part 3 from last night. Predators staving this Nashville goal to tie it mid-third. Canucks had a chance to challenge for interference, but Rick Tocchet didn't want to get his challenge wrong and risk the penalty that came with it, which would give a power play after allowing the goal already. So he didn't challenge. Preds scored to tie there. They scored to win a few minutes later. Bill, did Tocchet blow a series closeout by not challenging there?
He definitely blew. You've got to challenge that. There are 7 minutes left in the game. It's a tying goal. The game-tying goal. Challenge it. I believe the replay center overturned 2 of those calls recently this week.
Yeah, this week. Exactly. Jay Adante.
Challenge the call.
No, because the penalty is too severe. Giving up, going on the shorthanded again, giving up power play right after giving up the goal if it stands. Can we moderate this a little bit? As long as I'm suggesting rules changes today. How about you lose a timeout if you're wrong, just like it.
Wait.
Penalty is
Now you're turning into Woody Page. He always calls himself the solutions-oriented fan. You make the whole discussion about a new rule that you just invented. I want to still have the debate we're having here. Should Tocchet have challenged Harry Lyles around the horn to you?
I'm buying that he shouldn't have. I think he made the right decision. My man believes in the devil you know is better than the one that you don't know, because you don't know if you're going to win that challenge. If you do lose it, there are consequences to that. And because it was not a goal that was it was a tying goal, sure, but it didn't make them lose a lead. So that's why he didn't challenge it. And it's only something that they've done one other time all season. So they just basically have stuck with what they've done all year. And I'm not going to knock him for that because it's worked.
I agree with Tocchet. Look, there's not irrefutable evidence in terms of supporting your case. It's just too risky to go on a penalty. And then obviously, hindsight's always 20/20. So you're absolutely right in thinking that now, but it was just too risky in my mind.
Right. Risk adverse.
It's a game-tying goal.
I'm with you.
For you.
Especially
There was 7 minutes left.
They made rulings earlier in the
time.
week. Twice in the game. Mike Trout, torn meniscus. Surgery, not season ending, but looking at months away again. Averaged less than 90 games a season over the last 8 years. This is happening over and over again. J.A. Adande Trout had 10 home runs already in the first month of the year. How do you take this news if you're the Angels, if you're a baseball fan?
Tony he also had 6 stolen bases after sealing his total of 6 in the previous 4 seasons combined. He was back to running the bases like he did his early days when he scored 40 in his first year in the bigs. So I'm afraid that after getting hurt on the base pass again, those days are gone. But if I'm Mike Trout, I realize, you know what? I still got 7 years, $258 million left on that contract, so I'm doing the Alonzo Mourning gift.
No, nobody wants to hear that side of it right now. Harry, for this to have happened again to Mike Trout.
Yeah, I'm just buying that. I feel bad for Mike Trout, and I feel bad for Angels fans. I mean, the last 10 years, it seems like you first off, you just got rid of the best player in baseball who just went across town to go play. And then you had the previous best player in baseball in Mike Trout, who has just been hampered with injuries. Now you're 8 games under 500. You don't know when he's coming back. Anthony Rendon is also hurt. There just has not been a lot of bright spots for this team or this fan base, and it's just unfortunate that it has to keep happening this way.
Retweet all of the things that my partner said. I'm in the moment reminded about humanizing these extraordinary athletes. It would suck for me personally not to be able to do what I love because my body won't cooperate with me. That's all I keep thinking about. But he is in a great position. I remember how historic that deal was overall, and reviewing for today's conversation, you do think, well, at least he's going to be paid.
Bill Plaschke.
In baseball terms, this is really sad. This is a guy, the best player in baseball, sacrificed his body for everything. He hasn't had an at-bat in the playoffs in 10 years. He's had 15 total play appearances in the playoffs. We never got to see him in October. We never got to see his greatness. He gave his body. He's cooked. His career is probably eventually done. It's so bad. It's so bad. People talk about, well, can they trade him? They can't trade him. They'd have to give teams money to take him. Nobody wants him now. It's very sad.
There was that comp to Mickey Mantle when he came up, and it was so true. And he was winning MVPs and top 3 in MVPs every year. Now it's looking closer to Ken Griffey Jr. We'll move on. Game 5, Clippers Mavs. It's pivotal. Kawhi is out tonight. Doncic, look how his leg was taped up and wrapped in a shoot around. So it's not just basketball adjustments, it's health in question. Harry, series tied at 2. Who's in a better spot tonight?
I slightly lean towards the Mavericks. If we're not seeing Kawhi, I think that is still helpful, even though we saw how Game 1 went. To me, there's one thing that the Mavericks can do to sort of put them over the hump in this series, and it is the defense by Luka Doncic. In Game 4, he allowed 12 blow-bys, according to Second Spectrum. That is the most by any player in any game at all this season. And in this series, they are blowing by him on 71 attempts on blow-bys, 32 of 45. That would be the worst in any postseason by any player in the last 10 years. Luka Doncic, if he just plays a crumb of defense tonight, I know he's hurt, but if he could play a crumb of defense tonight, it would help them. And I promise you, Luka, the NBA wants you to give them a reason to use marginal contact. Give it to
Monica
them.
McNutt.
I'm not going to disagree with Harry, but I support the idea that Luka Doncic doesn't shoot 1 of 9 from 3 more than I expect him to become some defender. And I think that that's actually okay when you look at what the Dallas Mavericks have put around him and the way that Kyrie Irving has been able to come on in this postseason. The two of them have really good rhythm. I really like the push, even though it came up short in the last game. So I'm feeling like momentum's a little on the side of the Mavs with the absence of Kawhi Leonard.
Momentum's on the side of the team that just lost the game before that. Very interesting.
Feel that way.
Bill Plaschke.
The Clippers aren't a better team without Kawhi. However, in this matchup, the float GOAT, James Harden, is a better player without Kawhi out there. He was 5 for 8 on those floaters in crunch time. He has more than Florida space. He's more comfortable without Kawhi. Clippers win.
Yeah, Donde.
He was amazing in that fourth quarter, Bill. Reminded me of the MVP days, but that's why this Game 5 is so critical, because if you win, you might see that version again. If you lose and you're facing elimination, you're getting elimination Harden, where he's lost 9 of his last 10 elimination games. He's minus 152 in those games. So this Game 5 is so pivotal in so many ways. It determines which version of Harden.
Yes, I'm aware that Game 5 is pivotal.
Who's going to win, Jay?
Wait, I'm still confused, though. We're saying a team that lost the last game has the momentum, Monica McNutt?
Yes. The thing about what they nearly pulled off, the 31-point comeback, I think for them to start clicking defensively, to be able to keep pace, I think it was 34 to 33 in that fourth quarter. Yes, monster performances from Harden and Paul George, but to me, if they can play like that all the way through, they got
You've got Dallas tonight.
He's sounding somebody who's
I do have
Sounds
Dallas.
like Harry, you've got
Dallas.
Jay. You have it just being a pivotal game, I get you. Plaschke, how about you?
Clippers, the float GOAT.
Plaschke, McNutt, showdown next. You guys were underestimating the heart of a team facing elimination in the first round. Part 4, Maple Leafs staving without Austin Matthews, who's either sick or injured. We don't really know exactly what the story is there. Toronto getting the overtime win in Boston. You think the Bruins are starting to get that feeling again, Bill? First round and in trouble?
Well, Monica, this game must have reminded you of the Knicks game last night. And yes, I think the Bruins do have that feeling.
Wait. You're trying too hard here, and you're going the wrong way. You think the Bruins, please finish your thought, but you're losing points. Go ahead, Bill.
The Bruins have lost 5 straight series clinching games. It's on there. It's in their head.
Monica, how about you?
Counterpoint, the Maple Leafs have lost 4 straight in this position in the playoffs in overtime games. So I think this is more about them getting over the hump.
Just one hump. They need more hump getting over. We'll move on. Showdown 2, Jose Siri versus Abner Uribe. Siri, what's a bench-clearing brawl? This is a bench-clearing brawl. The Rays and Brewers. You people always mock baseball fights for not having swings. Look at these swings. Started because of a swing that was a home run. Monica, how does this rate among base brawls?
I'm going to give this one a strong B+. Shout out to the first base umpire for getting out of the way. Lots of core strength there, but I will never understand punching a guy with a helmet on.
Bill?
A+ for this. They're actually swinging at each other, and they didn't wait for the people to run in for the bullpens. They did it mano a mano right there on the first base line. Swing and swing. Good fight. Good
mano. Which means head-to-head, not... I see what you're saying there. All right. We'll move on. My favorite story of the year. MVP! Look at this helmet reveal. Superhero quality. This should be a wrestler's move, by the way, the Killer Bee. The swarming nest delayed Arizona's game, but the keeper of the Bees was on call. Matt Hilton is his name. He left his kid's T-ball game when he got the call, saved the game, threw out the first pitch, worked the crowd, did post-game interviews. Fans got a great game and a home team winning extras. What's the best part, Bill?
The fact that the PA system played holding out for a hero as he came onto the field, and then they shouted an MVP to him. That's tremendous. Just tremendous.
That's great. Monica?
The real-life blending of Animal Planet and ESPN all at the same time. You don't even need a remote. You're getting the best of both worlds.
The reveal when he takes it off is just such a great move. We should all have a moment like that.
It's a real buzzy move.
All right, that's it. See ya. Monica McNutt, take the FaceTime.
Of course, Tony Reality is the guy that puts me in this position. This week, or I should say over the course of this Knicks series, I've had a very high high. How to lay out on an epic call. Then last night, honestly, I had a bit of a low. Although I couched the statement, barring the Knicks doing anything silly, I jumped the gun with 28.6 seconds to go. Broadcasters, don't talk about the finish until it's finished.
Oh, I don't agree
Tony
with that. This was not anything close to an announcer's picks or anything. You said barring any setback. They had the setback. The setbacks were on them.
All right, Tony.
No.
All right.
I've come here to praise you.
Lay out.